On the news tonight, Tribunal sacks New Nigeria People's Party. Abba Yusuf declares All Progressives Congress Nasiru Gawuna winner of Kano governorship election. Youths defy Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's order hold protest in honor of late singer Mohbad. And President Bola Tinubu seeks international support in battle against insurgency. A warm welcome to News Now. I am Mary Kano. The Kano Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has sacked Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, declaring the All Progressives Congress APC candidate Nasiru Gawuna as the winner of the March 18 election. Yusuf, who contested on the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party, was declared the winner of the election by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) after the poll in March. But on Wednesday, the three-man panel, after hearing the petitions, ordered the withdrawal of the certificate of return which INEC presented to Yusuf and directed a certificate of return be issued to Gawuna. The court deducted 165,663 votes from Yusuf's total as invalid votes, saying that the affected ballot papers were not stamped or signed and therefore declared invalid. The ruling comes about 6 months after the APC candidate conceded defeat to Yusuf in the wake of INEC's presentation of the certificate of return to the NNPP candidate. Well, legal expert Abraham Jigu joins me now for better insight into this development out of Kano. Thank you very much for joining me now. Ever since September 6th, when the tribunal delivered judgment from the presidential election, we've had tribunals deliver judgment, from other states where elections were held and the results were contested. But this seems to be the biggest, and has raised eyebrows. We know Kano State to be an NNPP state, if I may say, but what then do you make of this judgment?
Well, as a lawyer, I will tell you that the judgment of the court will be respected, but parties who are the receiving hand will have the opportunity to appeal the judgment if they disagree with it. So once the court has given judgment, you are bound to respect it as parties, and you have the opportunity, if you are dissatisfied, to appeal that judgment.
All right. Well, can you explain, say, the potential implications, of this tribunal decision for the political landscape in Kano State and also Nigeria as a whole?
I think, in my opinion, that it holds a security threat. And I've read reports about the judges of the tribunal not being present while delivering the judgment. I understand that they deliver the judgment via virtually, and this is due to the fear of insecurity and their lives being in danger. Prior to this day, we also know that there were threats before now to the judges. And I want to believe that there have been counter-accusations and accusations against the judges of the tribunal. And this does not portend well for the polity in Kano and in Nigeria generally, because the peace we enjoy in the country should not be tampered with. But I would think that instead of resorting to violence or violence reaction from the NNPP supporters, they should be patient and wait for the appeal, because I know of a fact that the NNPP candidate in Kano State will appeal that judgment. And like you have said, there are many judgments that have been delivered in this election period, which have been also been overturned at the appeal court. where the tribunal gave judgment for a party and the Court of Appeal upstairs have disagreed with such judgment to be error in law. So I believe that the party that is dissatisfied, that's the NNPP, should be patient. They and the supporters should be patient and wait for the appeal at the Court of Appeal, where we believe that the justices at the Court of Appeal will review the judgment of the tribunal and give judgment according to law, not emotion.
Well, all right now, legal expert Abraham Jigu, thank you very much for your insight. Thank you. Moving on now, in Lagos, some youths have defied the state government's order not to stage a protest following the death of Ilerioluwa Aloba, also known as Mohbad, and took to the streets on Wednesday. A planned protest by some Nollywood actors and fans in honor of Mohbad was earlier cancelled following a request from the Lagos state government. The protest kicked off from Obakran Road in Ikeja to the governor's office in Alausa. Armed with placards, the youth say they are seeking justice for the late singer whose death has raised dust across the nation.
I just hope we could just get justice for him. That is all we want. Because when we want them to end Malian's record, end Naira Marley, end the people that has hand in his death. That's all we want. We want justice for him. And according to him, while he was alive, he used to say immobilization, for any pressure. So now they are getting the pressure. We want the government to give us justice. Justice is all we need. Let them give us justice and we'll be fine. If the justice is not well served, I think the best thing is just for us to enter the street and we get justice by ourselves. We are going to enter the street and get justice by ourselves because they knew he was a poor boy and they knew nothing can be done. They knew he could not get any help and he's a poor boy. That's why they did what they did. So we want justice for him. We are not ending till we get justice. We want justice.
Well, for me, it's not really, it shouldn't be about protests because whatever we're asking for, Mr. Governor, the state government is on it, and we're doing everything possible to make sure that we get to the right on this issue. We all love. He's a good man. Mohbad. Lagos mourn. I will continue. It's a big loss for Lagos.
If there's anything to actually achieve at all, it's justice. Because once there is justice, everybody will be calm and everybody will be happy. That will really help us to have more confidence in the government. And that will also send a message to people who believe that they are actually untouchable. So that's just the point. We are here for one thing, which is justice for Mohbad.
And President Bola Tinubu has asked foreign nations to intervene in Nigeria's protracted battle against insurgency. President Tinubu, who spoke while addressing world leaders at the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly at the UN headquarters in New York, US, expressed concerns about Nigeria's inability to completely quash the armed conflict, which has claimed thousands of lives and displaced millions, adding that insecurity is also exacerbating forced migration on the continent. This next report has more details.
In the early hours of Wednesday, President Bola Tinubu addressed the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly for the first time. In his speech to world leaders, the president highlighted a number of issues plaguing Nigeria and Africa, from foreign exploitation to woman trafficking to forced migration and to the need to tackle the climate crisis. Speaking at the high-level general debate, Tinubu mentioned foreign exploitation and interference as reasons for Africa's stunted growth.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has suffered this for decades, despite the strong UN presence there. What happened? The world economy owes the Republic of Congo much but gives her very little. The mayhem visited on resource-rich areas does not respect national boundaries. Foreign entities abated by local criminals who aspire to be petty warlords have drafted thousands of people into servitude to illegally mine gold and other resources.
As Nigeria continues to battle insecurity, the president expressed concerns about Nigeria's inability to completely crush insurgency.
Our entire region is locked in protracted battle against violent extremists. This harmful traffic undermines the peace and stability of the entire region. African nation will improve our economics so that our people do not risk their life to sweep the floors and streets of other nations. We also shall devote ourselves to disbanding extremist groups on our turf. Yet, to fully contain this threat, the international community must strengthen its commitment to arrest the flow of arms and violent people into West Africa.
Speaking on the spate of coup in Africa, President Tinubu, who doubles as the chairperson of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, said efforts must be intensified to affirm that democratic governance is the best guarantor of the sovereign will and well-being of the people.
We must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of sovereign will and well-being of the people. Military coups are wrong, as in any titled civilian political arrangement that is, will perpetuate injustice. The wave-crossing part of Africa does not demonstrate favor towards coup. It is a demand for solution to perennial problem. Let us dig it deeper.
The president also said that the wave of coup do not demonstrate a favorable disposition towards military rulership, but are born out of a demand for solution to perennial problems, and asked his global counterparts to respond by working with African governments in a bid to deter their firms and nationals from plundering the continent's riches. Tamilore Akinkwole, TV360 Lagos.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25 general election, Peter Obi, has filed 51 grounds of appeal before the Supreme Court, seeking the nullification of judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court and the election of President Bola Tinubu. In his notice of appeal, Obi and his party's team of lawyers, led by senior advocates of Nigeria, Levi Uzoko, said the Presidential Election Petitions Court erred in law and thereby reached a wrong conclusion when it dismissed the petition lodged to challenge the outcome of the presidential election. He also maintained that the 5-member panel of the tribunal, led by Justice Haruna Samani, carried out a miscarriage of justice when it held that he did not specify polling units where irregularities occurred during the election. Reacting to this development, in an interview with TV360, Nigeria legal expert Monday Ubani says the issue of establishing the law is crucial, adding that the Supreme Court will also consider the political fallout and financial impact of its decisions and not just the legal ones.
I have heard about 51 grounds of appeal, meaning they have a big hole 51 times from the judgment of the Court of Appeal, sitting as a tribunal. Now, most of them borders on misdirection of law, according to them, misapplication of law, wrong evaluation of facts, and mainly, I'm sure of this issue of Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, as one of the grounds of appeal, and at the same time, the issue of being a convict, that was brushed aside by the tribunal, by the Court of Appeal. These are some of those grounds that they felt that they have not gotten sufficient justice, or that the court has not done sufficient justice about those decisions, and they will want the Supreme Court to take a second look at it again, and then probably give them justice. Because when you appeal, you are asking the Superior Court to review what was the ratio, what was the decision of the court below. You are asking that you are feeling dissatisfied with the reasoning of the court or with the evaluation of the evidence by the court, or that the court has misapplied law or has not been able to evaluate the facts accurately. But if the Supreme Court makes a final pronouncement as to what has been decided by the lower court, they have no other choice than to abide by the decision of the Supreme Court. That is what I expect them to do. And then re-strategize towards the next election, whether they want to contest. And if they don't want to contest, who are they going to support? Or would they now probably jump over to APC and be a member of APC and all that? That is clearly left, in their hands to decide. I don't have the capacity to advise them what to do, but they should be able to know after that decision. But the only thing I will only advise is that they should maintain peace.
And looking to hold the federal government accountable and promote transparency in the use of public funds, the SocioEconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SARAP, has organized an interactive session with a focus on the management of public resources in the Niger Delta region. Speakers at the event emphasized the need to draw the attention of the government to specific issues and challenges facing all rich communities, as well as promote improved access to public goods and services as a matter of human rights in the Niger Delta region.
Where we looked at the current realities in the Niger Delta and the status of government institutions that have the responsibility to mitigate the effect of oil exploration in the Niger Delta. The larger aim of all these engagements, there are capacity building aims, which means that members of this society also are aware of their rights. They understand the nature of the violations that take place in the environment and their rights, but they also need to understand the rights they have and how they can engage in advocacy to ensure that there is policy change that would positively affect them. And also, there's another aim to also get critical stakeholders, the ministries, departments, and agents of government in the same room, to also understand that the roles that they need to play and the legal framework that guides the operations of their work. And we've seen over the years that there is more engagement now in terms of legal mechanisms from agitations in Nigeria and less emphasis on violence as a means of advocacy.
There are so many regulatory bodies from DPRO to NNPC before, to NOSDRA, and even Ministry of Environment. You see, when we go for some joint investigation over spillages, there is something called joint investigations, where the oil companies, where the police, government, NOSDRA, and Ministry of Environment, and the community will go to inspect the cause of spill and the extent of damage. They are even helpless. I've gone on 2 JIVs where we cannot assess the point of the spill. And so you can't even determine the cause.
Let's take a break now, but still to come. Federal government to boost power generation, stabilize national grid with $20 billion investment plan. More on the story when we return. Stay with us. Thank you for staying. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Kano Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has sacked Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, declaring the All Progressives Congress APC candidate Nasiru Gawuna as the winner of the March 18 election. The ruling comes about 6 months after the APC candidate considered defeat to Yusuf in the wake of INEC's presentation of the certificate of return to the NNPP candidates. We also told you that some youths have defied the state government's order not to stage a protest in Lagos following the death of Ilerioluwa Aloba, also known as Mohbad, and took to the streets on Wednesday. The protest kicked off from Obakran Road in Ikeja to the governor's office in Alausa. And with placards, the youth say they are seeking justice for the late singer whose death has raised dust across the nation. Well, in case you missed any of the news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Mix4 TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store and Huawei App Gallery on Facebook at TV360 Online. Welcome back. Well, it's time for business news and stock market reports with Simisola Adigun. Simisola, what's the latest?
Thank you very much, Mary. Welcome to business news. The federal government has said it will boost power generation and stabilize the national grid with an investment plan of $20 billion. Speaking in an opening ceremony at the Nigeria Energy Summit in Lagos, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adebalu, said the federal government would grow the power sector through huge investments. He also added that the federal government is ramping up preparations to attain at least 2,000 megawatts of electricity generation in the next 3 years. In a bid to boost the growth of small business enterprises in Nigeria, the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises MSME Africa has organized its first business series edition in partnership with other business moguls. Speaking at the event in Lagos, David Lanre, the founder and CEO of First Founders, says having unique ideas and a value creation strategy can help firms survive in the face of competition. This next report has more details.
Business startups are constantly becoming the order of the day in Nigeria. With the constant rise of highly industrious and motivated entrepreneurs, these individuals are leaving no stone unturned to prove their worth in this thriving culture of innovation and technology. However, while many of these startups flourish, others unfortunately disappear. To provide solutions to this negative trend, the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Africa has introduced a platform where startups can leverage on technology, networking and develop new business strategies to help entrepreneurs figure out how to survive.
A lot of businesses' problem starts from that point of decline. You start your business and you're excited, you push, that energy is there, and then you get to that point, you are questioning yourself, what have I done wrong? What is going on? What's going on? This business was doing good initially. And what is going on at this point? That this business is no longer doing good. Is it that we need to invest more? Now, at that point, a lot of entrepreneurs begin to make the mistake of pouring more money into marketing, and they continue to experience that decline. Because you are trying to saturate a space that you have dominated with the same product. Oftentimes, what should you do? Two things. You create a new product or you pivot.
Officials at the event emphasized that price strategy and community strategy can help get target customers and will help generate revenue. They charge entrepreneurs to remain resilient and focused on maintaining their ideals regardless of the circumstances.
We're talking about that customer experience that will bring you referrals. I remember in the days of my mom, she would ask me, so where are all these customers coming from? So she did business in the traditional way, in the house. No signboard, no paper bag, basic. But she had what you call customer service. And we're still building on that customer service. Excellent customer service, serving from your heart.
Most businesses in Nigeria, I think the greatest problem is, first of all, information. Most of them are not, they don't want to get information. First of all, you need to get information and then build your skills on that, information that you have gotten.
On his part, the founder, MSME Africa, Sheye Olurotimi, promised to keep giving back to the society via entrepreneurship development programs, leveraging technology to promote the growth of MSMEs.
It's a program that enables businesses to grow and to scale. And of course, it's not every kind of business that is captured within our own our own community. We are basically focused on micro, small, and medium enterprises. So this event is for them to learn from experts on how to grow, how to become better at what they are doing, to network with other people, and just to learn one or two things.
The community has aided over 2,500 micro, small and medium enterprises and entrepreneurs. In 2022, the federal government inaugurated the Nigerian Startup Act Implementation Committee and pledged a sum of 10 billion naira which will be given to startups as seed fund, grants and loans. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
I will take a short break and return with stock market reports. Stay with us. Investors on the local bourse have lost 13 billion naira after the equities market recorded its first dip this week. The market decreased by 0.303% at the close of trading on Wednesday. Now, key performance indicators, the all-share index and market capitalization decreased as well to 68,335 thousand basis points and 37.4 trillion naira respectively. Investors sold stocks like Transcorp Hotels PLC and Ikeja Hotel PLC. Both led the decliners league after decreasing to 10% and 9.93% respectively. Now, the market's negative close on Wednesday also pushed down the return year-to-date to 33.34%. In 8,201 deals, investors exchanged 566 million volumes of shares valued at 5.3 billion naira. The story is the same internationally, seeing global shares trade mixed as markets await a decision by the Federal Reserve on interest rates. So here are select foreign stocks. The UK's FTSE and US Dow Jones end in the bulls territory, leaving Japan's Nikkei in the bears at 0.66%. Well, it's still uncertain when the Fed will feel comfortable enough that inflation is moving back to its 2% target for it to stop raising rates. That's business and stock market report. Mary, back to you.
Well, many thanks for the update, Misala. Moving on now to the global scene. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame has confirmed that he will run for a fourth term next year, which could extend his presidency to nearly 3 decades. In an interview with newsmen, Kagame said he was not bothered by the opinion of outsiders and was happy to carry on as long as Rwandans wanted him to stay and serve them. The Rwandan government has decided to synchronize the dates for its parliamentary and presidential elections, which are due to be held in August 2024. And in sports, the Spanish government has said most of Spain's international footballers have agreed to rejoin the squad following a strike by the World Cup winners over the former president of the federation forcibly kissing a player. The announcement followed hours of negotiations over player demands for further changes at the Spanish Football Federation after ex-president Luis Rubiales resigned. Spain plans to fly to Sweden on Thursday morning before their match in Gothenburg on Friday. Well, that's all on news now. Thank you for watching. I am Mary Kano.